My name's Martin Rogers of Park Road West, Rosyth. This is some pieces of cinefilm which I'm copying onto video for the Carnegie Trust's project, 20th Century Dunfermline project. The films were taken by me under my copyright. Just a few odd bits. The first film is of the Primrose area, basically Primrose Lane, when the houses were being built there. It was taken on the 26th of March 1972. It was a cheap film, and that shows, I'm afraid, in the quality. At the end of that section there's also a short piece of the Prefab site at Camdean Crescent. And despite the title, the next piece is actually taken on the 3rd of September 1973 and is of the building or the area they were going to build married quarters on at Castle Road. So it shows a panorama of Rosyth round about that area. The houses they did build, I think, were called Sherbrooke Road, or at least Sherbrooke Road was part of that estate. We start this next piece of film at Primrose Farm. So that's the wall surrounding Primrose Farm. And we're now heading along Primrose Lane, heading east, looking at the area that was roughly now Winnieburn. This was an existing road, this lane, which ran from the halt right along to Primrose Farm, but it was considerably improved once the housing had been built. This is, I think, the existing road. And I guess this is roughly the point where the community centre is. We're now being diverted off the existing Primrose Lane onto the road that serves the houses running parallel to it. So there's the original Primrose Lane as improved on the left-hand side. That's one of the factory buildings, which I think is now occupied by Senate. It's an electrical wholesaler. And I think that's the building that was Leyland Scott's factory, now eventually a leisure complex. We're turning back onto Primrose Lane and coming to the junction with King's Road. This is us in Camdean Crescent, the end of Park Road West, turning into Camdean Crescent and heading east. The junction we're coming to on the left hand side is Camdean Lane. This area now on our left hand side and a little bit further along on the right hand side was the area that was developed with prefabs in the late 40s. I think it was about 1949. We're now coming up to join Park Road West. This piece of film, if I haven't given the date, was taken on the 26th of March 1972. So it's now coming to join King's Road. This was before the roundabout was built. Now we turned left and we're heading north up King's Road. Now we move on to the 3rd of September 1973. This is taken from the east side of Castle Road, looking over the area that was to be developed as a married quarters site. You can see the dockyard cranes in the background. Here's the clock tower on Pease Hill, and that's the trig point, or triangulation point as it's sometimes called. Its proper title anyway. That, I think, is the chart depot. This is just slightly further down Castle Road, but again swinging round and looking at the area that was to be built, the houses were to be built on. Here again is the clock tower and Pease Hill in the distance. This grassy area that I'm standing on to take this piece of film, it wasn't where the tram tracks ran down to the dockyard. I've now moved up the sort of slope of the hill, so that's Castle Road and running down in the middle distance. That was the Jutland Club, all those white roof buildings, I think, then the Officers Club. Swinging round and now looking over Dollytown.